Hola, muy buena gente. Estamos hoy en el primer gameplay de Stanley, pero ya sé que el acento es un poco regulero, pero así sé que seleccionar la hora actual, que son las 10:47 p.m. ¿Qué tal está mi gente? Pues bueno, estamos por aquí, vamos a jugar a este grandioso título que está gratis en el PS Plus. Ese juego que la verdad va de una persona que no sabe muy bien el camino que va a decidir en una historia que es extraída en diferentes puntos de vista. Entonces, por ello, hay que estar muy pendiente. Thank you for actualizing the clock of times. The sexually just laid the clock set at 12 and call it a day. But you already touched the clock and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this pain you're paying attention. Then you're sitting are correct. Tell you what, I will make you a deal. If you haven't succooped instead you put out the game and set the screen just set for every time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. Earn it. Alright, I will let you back. Pero esto es lo que os estoy diciendo, que literalmente le estoy explicando qué tiene diferente. Entonces que empiece el juego.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day, every month, of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something
La
he
voz del
would never
narrador no sé
quite
por qué, pero
forget.
es que me gusta mucho.
He had been at his
Comunique su
desk for
expresión
nearly an
oral.
hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to
Venga,
follow.
vamos a ver.
No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting,
Y
or
de
even
repente está
say
en la oficina y dice
hi.
que ya desapareció todo el
Never
mundo.
in all his
Y no sabe
years at the
dónde está,
company
está
had this
insolado.
happened, this complete
Veremos lo que
isolation.
sucede, chicos.
Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his
Un logro.
office.
Es porque ya entré al juego antes y he vuelto.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the trophy?
Nada, queda un
Click a
trofeo
door
que lo que
5
hay que hacer es
times?
seguir lo que
Is
te
that all
dice
you think a trophy is
el
worth? No,
narrador,
no,
¿vale,
no, no,
chicos?
no.
Venga,
I
vamos a seguir.
can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks.
Entonces,
Now, suppose you were to
creo que
click the
están todas
door
las puertas
20
cerradas.
times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
No, parece que nada, vamos a continuar.
When Stanley came to a set of
Hay que
two
elegir dos
open
puertas,
doors,
izquierda o
he
derecha.
entered the door on
Hay
his
que elegir,
left.
Ha dicho que entramos a la izquierda, entramos. No. No sé por qué no hay nadie. Vale.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a
Tips
wave
for
of
marketing fire.
disbelief,
Esto es lo que
Stanley
algunos necesitan.
decided to go up to his boss's office,
Esto por sobre
hoping he
todo,
might
Mario.
find an answer there.
A ver. Bueno. Dinero, dinero, más dinero. Dinero más things, things. Dinero, 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 ganancias. Es que está lleno de referencias este juego, mira. Muy interesante. 405. Tiene a lot of porcentaje. Size of the Demográfico. Los últimos 4 manager. Vale. Pressure to energy. Contratar a alguien para despedir. Charge, slide, charge. Está abierto.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No puedo coger nada.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Vamos a
office.
ver qué pasa si me voy para abajo. Una nota. Voy para el
But
vídeo antes
Stanley
para
just
saber
couldn't
si
do it.
lo queréis
He
leer.
considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams,
El narrador no se calla, está diciendo todo el rato de esto es un sueño, si no, cuál es el significado de ello, si todo el rato se repite, si todo era un sueño, ¿no? Y si de verdad se había dormido durante estaba trabajando. Y por ello estamos en esta situación en un bucle que parece que nunca va a acabar. Que nunca va a acabar.
He knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons.
Si os está gustando el vídeo, por favor, darle like y suscribiros.
I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always
Como dice
been.
lo que dice el narrador,
My life is normal.
está en control de nosotros, porque mira, no nos deja.
Everything will be fine.
Ahora tenemos la pantalla negra.
I am okay.
Si queréis que el próximo vídeo os guste más, ponedme en los comentarios. No, otra. Ah, vale.
Stanley began screaming.
please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss, I have an office, I am
No,
real.
no.
Please, just someone tell me
No.
I'm real. I must be real, I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
No. Otra vez.
And everything went black.
No. Pobre Stanley.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariela.
Mariella
Mariella?
woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got
Stanley.
dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then
My name is
collapsed dead
Stanley.
on the sidewalk. And although she
Vamos
would
ese.
soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't.
Vale.
It was comforting to think this, and in a
Present.
certain way, seeing this man made her feel better.
De verdad somos.
Then she remembered the meeting she had
Es la
scheduled
historia de que
for
somos
that
que
day.
acabamos de morir
Very
en una
important
parálisis
people
cerebral.
whose
Que
impressions of
esa
her would affect
señora
her
llamada
career
Madly
and by
ahora se siente
extension,
bien
the
consigo
rest of
mismo
her life.
y
She
que
had
se
no
convierte en una
time for
especie de sí
this,
mismo.
so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the
Y
body.
dice que no era momento para
And then
ver
she
cómo
turned and ran.
se un cuerpo ahí tumbado y se dio la vuelta y se puso a correr y ya está. No, never is dead, never is dead. Otra vez en el inicio.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could
What
it
could it
mean?
mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
Ya
simply missed
simple
a
misa
memo.
memo. Dios, esto ya lo tengo en la memoria. ¿Le hacemos caso?
When
Venga, no
Stanley
le hacemos
came to
caso.
a set of 2 open doors, he entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop
A
by
ver,
the
voy a abrir
employee
el
lounge
capó.
first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour
venga,
after
de aquí.
all, just to spend a few
No me
moments
deja
here in this
coger nada.
immaculate, beautiful. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Vamos a ver aquí qué hay. No le hacemos caso en esta ropa. Una fábrica.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Que no te metas conmigo, narrador. A ver.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've got
No,
off
no he
on
visto
the
la
wrong
puerta
foot
esa.
here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on
A ver
your
que se puede saltar ahí.
side.
Está
Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Psicología inversa.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth
Sí, lo que
ruining the
quería.
entire story I'd
Lo que
written
quería,
out
ahora que...
specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for
Gusta mucho el
nothing.
diseño de este
Because
juego,
this is
mira.
what you wanted to see.
Diseño
Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and
cuadrangular,
unknowable
cómo están los
desires of
planos,
yours. What
la
would have made
simbología,
this game better?
el diseño
What
de
did you
niveles.
want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me.
Quiero
You've given
ver
me
a un mono
absolutely nothing so
argentino.
far. Tell you what.
Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Venga, esta me gusta la rojita.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Venga, uno.
A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
A ver. De Stanley, Espero, Worldwide Leaderboard. Total. 169. Dicho no da 22 de players que dentro. De putos. 3% de los jugadores son la aportación. Cabrón. Mentira, no soy nuevamente el 128. Mentira. Tengo amigos. No. No, creo que darle eso. Entra otra vez. ¿Qué pasa?
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
No.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4
en los
hours.
comentarios.
So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective?
Nico, no.
Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Ya, me cae mal, vamos a quemarlo, ¿qué pasa?
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable.
Vamos,
hey,
chicos.
since my game was so awful, why don't you play
¿Cómo
someone
se pasa
else's
este
game?
juego?
Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
Pereira, ¿qué te he dicho?
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha! Fascinating.
Chicos.
What do you think this game
¿Sabes
is
lo que me
about,
recuerda a
Stanley?
esto? Me recuerda al
What's our
juego de
backstory? What is our
los que juegan todos los
motivation?
youtubers, que parece que esta es una
Well,
cabaña.
it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
¿Puedo salir? No puedo coger nada. Vale. Grafiquitos. Que yo creo este juego tiene mucho para hacer. Ahora está muy chulo el concepto de Hay tantos finales, tantas cosas diferentes, porque mira, ahora de repente parece mundo.
No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly, block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with
Rata, que yo
walls.
quería mundo
Something
libre.
with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
No. El Rocket League.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run
Se
around
puede,
in.
no tiene
There isn't
derecho.
any
A lo mejor
possibility
trae la
that you
empresa.
could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley,
Esta es
I
una
think it's
parodia, bro.
sports ball. Oh, what
Al Rocket
fun.
League. Qué
We shall
divertido,
run the
con un
bases and do a
cochecito darle una
touchdown
pelota y que
together.
meta,
Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
No se puede saltar. Dios. Dios.
Hold on. What are you doing?
No, que
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
15 cabinets. Me voy a tirar y me va. No hay nada, ¿eh? A lo se le puede parecer raro, pero yo creo que... No, joder, parece una... Un sitio abandonado. Vamos a ver. Luz verde. Sigan la luz. ¿Sabes? Como me sale un bicho me asustaría. A ver, ordenadores y el foto que tiene. ¿En serio no hay nada aquí? ¿Qué ha pasado?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps
No,
he's gotten
yeah,
it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
¿Qué ha pasado? No sé. No. No puedo más.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a moment.
Bueno, chat. Despedimos aquí el vídeo. Espero que os haya gustado. denle like y suscríbanse, mi gente de República.